This is Lucas,
And this is Harrison.
and today we're going to be talking about Monster House.
I gotta say, I chose this because it's October and Halloween's coming up, and just to get in the spirit of Halloween.
Monster House was always a big part of our childhood. It used to scare me a lot when I was a kid, especially
Yeah.
the animation on the house.
Yeah.
All the faces that it made. So what's your favorite part about the movie?
My favorite part about the movie is how they animated the house, like attacking people,
Yeah.
how like it transforms from like an ordinary house into a monster, and then into like a gigantic house with legs, with arms and legs, trying
Yeah.
to come after everyone.
So, I didn't have very many problems with the movie. The only really thing I thought was a little awkward about the movie was how the characters kind of seemed like stereotypes,
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
and some of the humor was a little immature.
Yeah. Like when when they were messing with the basketball in the
Yeah.
beginning of the movie. But the part that actually made me laugh with my cousins was like the intro, where like where the beginning credits are rolling.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I definitely thought there was more good than bad in the movie.
Mhm.
A lot of parts were really suspenseful, like when Chowder first went to the house and he rang the doorbell and it changed.
Yeah. It did.
I saw a lot of behind the scenes videos on the DVD where they talk about how they wanted it to sort of be a movie about these kids who act like they're just letting their imaginations run free whenever they're trying to talk to parents about this house being alive, and it's up to them to actually be able to stop it.
Yeah. But I gotta say, when I saw this movie, which I don't have the disc for it, I don't have the DVD for it, I was astounded that they would animate something like this. This was pretty good. They did pretty good animation on this.
I also thought that they actually did the animation with the characters in live action.
Yeah.
They would be in these big sets and they would wear these suits with dots on them.
So like just so like they could animate it, like they could take the person who has like the black suit and the dots on them and like animate it, just how like they did with Michael Jackson's Ghost, where like with the skeleton dancing. They just took Michael Jackson, put a black suit on him, and then added dots on him. That's how they animated the skeleton.
Yeah. I definitely thought they did a decent job of the live action animating, because most movies that I've seen where they do that kind of thing, the characters just look real deadpan with their eyes just open, expressionless, and just almost look like they're floating when they're walking.
Yeah.
I thought they did a decent job of having the actors actually look like they were actually acting.
Yes. Now, like, when they animated this, I gotta say, when they animated this, it's hard to explain.
Yeah.
Yeah. They had a great concept of making the movie.
Yeah. When I was a kid, I didn't really quite understand how the house came to life with Constance dying, and then I sort of just realized that she died and her spirit possessed it, even though they didn't really go into that detail much, with just sort of just showing it instead of just shoving it in your face is what happened.
Yeah.
That's the kind of movies that have good storytelling. They sort of explain it, but in a way that the audience can still think for themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's pretty good. Yeah, that's a good thing. And back then when I was a kid, I usually got into like animation by watching like regular movies like on a VHS tape or a DVD.
Yeah.
And I preferred VHS because I was astounded that they could do something like this. Like, this is pretty good. This is...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really liked all the cool sound effects that they used with the house to make it sound like a real monster.
Yeah.
They would make all these roaring sounds and have them echo through this cabin to make it sound like it's actually coming out of a house.
Yeah. And the one thing when they animated this, the one problem I had with it is the tongue. And it was just a carpet. It was just a piece of carpet, like, getting, like, coming out of the house. And
Yeah, I never really thought of that. That does seem kind of weird.
yeah.
And where did it get all that spit in the first place to throw up?
I have no clue. It's
And how
probably
did-
water plumbing.
How did Nevercracker even have that thing that looked like a uvula that somehow triggers the gag reflex?
I have no clue.
What were even in those things?
I have no clue. Probably like, I don't know, probably like dead bodies or something that's been swallowed by the house.
I did like the way they sort of, they made Nevercracker look like a nice guy at the end with how he just didn't want people to get hurt by Constance since she was always mad at kids before she died.
Yeah, because because people actually laughed at her and threw things at her.
Yeah, she was always made fun of when she was in the circus called a giantess, and that's why she attacks all those kids that
So that's how that's why they made fun of her. Was it because she was huge?
hmm I also liked a lot of the foreshadowing that they did in the movie, like how they foreshadowed how to solve the problem when the house was about to eat them.
Yeah.
They used the uvula. They sort of just showed it with how... I also like the joke where Chowder thought that the uvula meant that it was a girl house. Remember
Yes.
that?
Yeah. Okay, so I didn't get this part. When they went into the basement area where every single toy that's been stolen from kids,
Yeah.
like the tricycle in the intro, the basketball from in the middle of the movie.
Yeah.
And yeah. And this kind of confused me. I was like, whoa, slow down. Where did those slinkies come from? The ones that grabbed you and brought you up into the air.
Yeah. I guess the house is able to control the slinkies?
I guess. And the pipes. Oh, is it air vent pipes?
I think they were air pipes. Yeah, they were.
Yeah, they were. Now, I was confused. I was like...
And how was there a light shining through the window that the house could use to look inside?
Uh-huh.
That's kind of confusing.
Yeah. Yeah. That is pretty confusing, indeed.
Yeah. I definitely thought the climax of the movie was my favorite part when the house chases them with these trees as hands. That was a really great climax.
That was. Yeah, but I thought one of the characters were what the heck just happened? Like that. That's how I reacted.
Yeah.
Like the worker at that, was it the game master?
Yeah.
That guy seemed like...
What the frickety frick is this guy?
Yes, and after what they explained what he does, I'm all like, nope, I'm out of here. That's how I would react. That's how I reacted
Yeah.
when I saw it.
I also liked how, even though they had the characters as stereotypes, they still showed that they still had a heart and they were still kids inside. Like, the teenage guy, he had this kite, and the house tried to lure him into it, and it seemed like all of his childhood memories just came back to him, and that's what lured him to it.
Yes. Now, the punk guy, I'm all like, he just flips out on the kid, and I'm all like, that's how I reacted, literally, when I saw that.
I thought it was weird that the whole dummy, the cold medicine, when they tried to get the house to sleep, what?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That was just weird that they thought that cold medicine could put a house to sleep.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. Like, try to explain that,
I
movie
do-
makers.
I didn't know that there were a lot of scenes that they had originally planned to have in that they just threw out after a while,
Yeah.
like with too much explaining and stuff.
Mhm.
And how they were originally going to explore the house and try to burn out the furnace, and the director pretty much figured that that wouldn't be enough to tell the story and that that wouldn't make them look like heroes.
Yeah. Technically.
It was also kind of weird that Chowder was able to drive that crane even though he said he didn't know how to.
Yeah. Yeah, that is pretty weird. Like,
And
did
why
the
would-
movie makers just, like, give up? Like, they forgot?
And why would DJ want Chowder to get the house under the crane if they thought that the house was destroyed when it fell down the big ditch?
They were
And would he
probably...
want Chowder to just fall like that?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yep. And like a few days, like as this went on, I was about to just turn off the movie, and like take out the movie and just watch another movie. That's how I felt when I saw this.
So, you know, I do kind of like Monster House. Even though it does have its problems, I still do think it's a good watch from start to finish, and there's
Yeah.
definitely more good than bad in it. So I definitely recommend this movie. How about you?
I recommend this movie 10 out of 10. Actually, scratch that. 9.5 out of 10 just because of the flaws that's in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright, so what else?
This is Lucas.
And this is Harrison signing out.
Bye.